Hello and welcome to this video going over data elements and form structures in the Data Dictionary module. To start, here's an overview of our standard submission timeline. In this video, we will be discussing prerequisite knowledge of the Data Dictionary that is crucial for this step, defining data. Defining data comes after sharing your case report forms or CRFs with the operations team, ensuring you have created your study profile and user accounts, and that your study is also collecting sufficient PII for GUI generation. At this point, you will begin pursuing the data dictionary for data elements and form structures matching your study CRFs, a process called cross mapping. Please see our video on cross mapping for a more detailed explanation of that process. In this video, we will be covering these 4 topics, which are fundamental to the defining data step. First, we will go over the data dictionary, its foundation, and an overview of the terminology you will see throughout this video. Then we will be reviewing data elements, their attributes, the concept of unique data elements, and a demonstration of how data elements are created. After that, we will cover repeatable groups, their meaning, and attributes. And finally, we'll end this video with a look at form structures and some of their fundamental characteristics. The Data Dictionary aligns with the NINDS CDE project in that it supports the standardization of the data throughout its development by working groups comprised of experts on the subject matter. The NINDS defined a set of core common data elements, or CDEs, and instruments, which are data elements and forms that collect essential information applicable to any study. Examples of the general core CDEs and forms include basic demographic information and basic enrollment data collected from all study participants. I'll now briefly show you where to find more information on the NINDS core CDEs. We will navigate to the core CDEs from the FITBIR instance. If you're using a different instance, please contact your ops team for more information on where to find the core CDEs. First, we will go to the public site and select Data at the top, and then select Data Dictionary, and you will be able to expand the list of core CDEs. Now we'll review some key terms. Starting with data element, a data element is essentially a representation of a feature on your CRF that you are attempting to capture. Other key terms that we will review are form structures, which are comprised of data elements and repeatable groups, which organize form structures. There are 2 types of data elements, common and unique. Common data elements, or CDEs, are created by the NINDS CDE project. Unique data elements, or UDEs, are created by users on a case-by-case basis. Programmatic approval is required if you are unable to match or map your study CRFs to what is available in the data dictionary. A form structure is a collection of data elements organized to aggregate data in one place. Often a form structure will mirror an outcome measures. Here you can see the Glasgow-Coma scale and the questions represented by data elements, which comprise the form structure to the right. Repeatable groups provide the ability to organize the data elements within a form structure. The repeatable aspect means that you can submit multiple rows of data to a repeatable group, which is a subset of questions in a form structure to capture the same data being collected more than once for the same subject on the same visit date. Do note that a data element can be used more than once in a form structure if they are in different groups. Let's use an example of a patient having their blood pressure taken in different positions to explain repeatable groups. Patient XYZ had his blood pressure taken on February 17th of 2023. The first blood pressure reading was done with patient XYZ in the supine position. Their blood pressure reading was 128/80. Next, the blood pressure was done with patient XYZ sitting, and their blood pressure was 122/76. Finally, The blood pressure was done with XYZ standing upright, and their blood pressure was 118/72. Now let's look at data elements. Here's the gender type data element pulled from the data dictionary. In the dictionary, there's information about the element version, type, title, variable name, short description, definition, and any relevant notes. The variable name of a data element is its most identifiable feature. The variable name has a property, which shows what is being asked about the topic, so here it is gender, and a representation term, which shows what the anticipated response or answer is. Here it is type. For this particular representation term, there is a set of permissible values from which the user can select the proper subject gender. Certain representation terms indicate the presence of permissible values, as is the case with type. Here's a list of commonly used rep terms, each with a category outlining the type of measure being captured, as well as an associated definition. The abbreviations are what are used in the variable names of data elements. In addition to variable names, a data element is defined by its type. In this case, it is a common data element. Its title, gender type, which expands the abbreviated variable name, and finally, its short description and definition. Generally, the description and definition can contain similar features. However, for data elements with longer definitions, a short description is vital to an efficient means of understanding what the data element expresses. In the data dictionary, as I will show in our demo later, the data elements are organized by title. There are 3 statuses for each data element: draft, awaiting publication, and published. Drafts are only visible by users who have accounts and can access the data dictionary. As the title suggests, these are drafts and are not published features in the data dictionary. If data elements need to be edited for any reason, it is best they are modified at the draft or awaiting publication stage, as these have not been published and do not have previous data submitted against them. Provide rationale for additional data elements and get programmatic approval to create new, unique data elements. Here's our demonstration: a brief look at how to search for data elements in NINDS core CDEs, how data elements are created, and how data elements are created through the template. First, log into your BRICS instance, and then go to the data dictionary module. Select search under the data elements on the left side. On this page, you'll be able to narrow your search results by using the filters on the left and/or using the keyword search. You can select a data element to see its information. Use the tabs to navigate to the info you wish to view. To create a data element, first select Create under the Data Elements section on the left. You'll then be on the Create Data Element page. Make sure to provide all the required information as well as any optional information you wish to include. After continuing to the next page, you'll be able to upload any documentation you would like associated to your data element. This page is where you will define what kind of data this data element is, and add any restrictions to what input can be accepted. Now review all of your information before saving. Now let's learn how to import data elements. First, navigate to the import page under data element. Here we will be able to download an import template. I will be using our import template that is an Excel workbook file. It helps to fill out the data in an easier way. You may need to request more information from your operations team on where to find it for your instance. Here is the workbook file. You can see that all the required information is color-coded as yellow columns. Some fields have predefined values to select from. I'll go ahead and fill out all the required information. After filling out all of the required information, you will need to save it as a CSV before you will be able to import it into your BRICS instance. Navigate back to the upload page under Data Elements and upload the CSV. After uploading, you will see the different data elements you have in the CSV, as well as any errors associated with them. If you have any errors, you will need to fix them before you can import the data element. When you are ready, select the data elements that you wish to import and click Import Selected Data Elements. Now let's search for a data element. Let's add a filter to show only my data elements as well. Here's our data element that we just imported. Here's an example of uploading a data element that has already been uploaded previously. It will warn you beforehand that this will overwrite the pre-existing data element. Now we will focus on repeatable groups. Groups are a means of ordering your data elements to capture info relative to a certain aspect of the assessment. For example, here there is a group for the subject and the parent or guardian. Data elements in each group are related to its particular heading or particular context. Note that data elements can be reused in different groups. For forms that have different parts, for example Part A, Part B, etc., separate groups that contain the data elements exist. For example, in Group 1 would be named Part A. Group 2 would be Part B. This is done to make sure your data element organization matches the outcome measure. Groups can be used to submit multiple rows of data for a subsection on the same visit for the same subject. As shown below, see appears up to 6 times next to the group name. That is how to identify how many rows of data you can submit against that group. This is the format of what you would be submitting. You can see that multiple rows can be added per subject. Note this example is abbreviated for demonstration purposes. This concludes our look at repeatable groups, and next we will examine form structures. Form structures are comprised of data elements housed in the data dictionary. Form structures contain repeatable groups. You can search the form structure facet of the data dictionary to determine which forms capture information related to your study's CRFs. This is an example of a form structure. You can see that it includes aspects such as a title, short name, description, etc., as well as documentation, groups, and attached data elements and change history. These are 2 required groups for every form structure. The main group is a standardized group of data elements that must be included in all form structures and allows for the entry of basic data concerning the participant and its participation in the study. The form administration group allows for entry of information concerning the source of data collection and the context in which it was collected. Pay attention to the optionality of data elements. Required has to be answered, recommended should have a response, and optional doesn't have to be answered. Appendices are form structures created to hold additional questions which could not be added to a published or shared draft form structure. Appendices are not technically linked to their parent form structures, but are named in such a way that they will appear with them for querying purposes. Before creating form structure appendices, you will be required to obtain programmatic approval. Different permissions exist for users utilizing forms. Both owner admin and write allows users to view draft form structures, edit form structure details, and attach data elements. Read allows users to view draft form structures. Like data elements, form structures have different stages of development. Draft, it's created by a user and can be seen by the creator and those given permission, and can easily be modified. Awaiting publication, user has finalized the form structure and submits it for the operations team to review. Changes can still be made, but the user must contact the operations team. And published, the form structure has been approved by the operations team forms can be seen and used by other users. Shared drafts become compliant with the addition of the main group and the form administration group. Changes cannot be made to shared drafts. Any additional data elements must be added using the appendix method. Consult with the operations team to use a shared draft by NINDS. Here's an overview of our demonstration. We'll do a brief look at how to search form structures, how we can download CSVs for data entry, and how form structures are created. First, log into your BRICS instance and navigate to the Data Dictionary. By default, the Data Dictionary will show the form structure search page. We will search demographic. After selecting a form structure, you'll be able to see all of its information. Here, you can export the form structure as a CSV so that you'll be able to use it to import data. This is an example of a form structure filled out with auto-generated data. Notice that all form structures must have the short name in the first cell. Then in cell A2, you must have the word record and indicate any unique rows of data with an X. In these headers, you'll notice that they have the group name and the variable name. Here you can see that this is the main group, and then over here we have the form administration group. Once the data is entered in this format, you can validate and submit your data through the submission tool. You may also make use of the ETL tool for data mapping. We can find the ETL tool by navigating to the BRICS website, clicking on What is BRICS, and then click on the name of it for the documentation on how to use the tool, and click Launch to download the tool. The data mapping and transformation tool is used to map your data that is not in the form structure format to a BRICS compliant CSV that can be processed by the BRICS system. Now let's go back to the data dictionary and learn how to create a form structure. Click on Create under Form Structures in the navigation. On this page, we will be selecting the data elements that we wish to add, as well as the grouping of those data elements that we wish to do. I will add the data elements that I created earlier and put one of them in the clinical assessment group. Here you can add any additional documentation you wish to include, as well as modify the permissions for the form structure. Here you can review your form structure before saving. I will go back to data elements and actually edit these fields. I decided to add the 12-item short form health survey and put it into the clinical assessment group. After you are done, navigate back to the review page and then click Finish. If you feel that your form structure is ready for publication, you can navigate to that form structure and click Request Publication. If you have any additional questions, please reach out to your operations team. And thank you for watching.